Hello, YouTube freaks. Do I ever have a special video for you today? We're going to be doing more finance. Now, you might be asking me, Matthias, why are we doing more finance? And I would answer by saying, how did you get into my house? And why are you making me such a delicious breakfast? And I'd sit down at the counter and watch you make me eggs Benedict. And I'm usually not a fan of eggs Benedict, but whatever smell is dancing in the air and playing tag in my nose is nothing short of a miracle, and is plaguing my senses with the insatiable need to eat. And you're dressed very nicely as well, so I can't protest that much. And you say, the door was unlocked. And I say, well, that's still no excuse to walk into someone's house. You're still breaking in, and I usually lock the door. I've just clearly forgotten. And then I also noticed that you're using my nonstick pan, but you're using my old one, and I know that's going to be a pain to clean. But to my surprise, you clean it for me after you're done making me this delicious eggs Benedict, which I eat very fast because it's delicious. And we get to know each other, and we open up an eggs Benedict store, bakery, and we make delicious eggs Benedicts, and I eat way too many because I start to really like them. I used to dislike them, and now it's like a enemies to lovers trope. And then, enough time flies that we decide to get married and start a family. And, well, although you never got your answer, you got something a lot more important. Someone to cherish until the end of your days. So today we're going to be doing portfolio optimization. Now you might be asking, is this going to be difficult? No. We're going to, how ambitious am I feeling? We're going to do I'm just going to do the first question. So consider three assets, two risky assets, asset one and asset two. And then there's the riskless asset or the risk-free asset. Asset one has an expected return of 5% and a volatility of 10%. Asset two is an expected return of 10% and a volatility of 20%. And the riskless asset provides a return of 2%. Okay. Also, I'm just going to state this here. Finance is essentially the science of risk and reward. And how much risk are you able to tolerate for a certain reward? That's why risk aversion is a huge thing. That's why, how you create a portfolio is like you want to hedge against risk and all the rest of it and all that other fun stuff. But it all comes down to risk and reward, essentially. That's super important, but not super important right now, because right now we're doing this. So an investor has quadratic utility, which is not as hard as it is sounding, with a degree of relative risk aversion equal to 5, and considers the following options. So first, suppose that she uses the maximum utility strategy to form two portfolios. Portfolio 1 invests in asset 1 and the riskless asset. Portfolio 2 invests in asset 2 and the riskless asset. Solve for the optimal weights of the two portfolios, compute the expected return, volatility, and Sharpe ratio of the two portfolios. Which portfolio delivers the highest utility? Okay, so we're not doing any lineage, so you can celebrate now if you'd like. But let's do it. So portfolio 1, if we want to do our weights, and I believe we're doing the weights in the it's the maximum utility strategy. And so the weights are calculated like this. There's the weight, 1 over squiggly. I guess this is kind of important. I think I should label things. This is the relative risk aversion. This is the risk-free rate. This is your variance. Okay? And this is the return on the stock 1. I think. Yeah, so this would be the variance because like this is equal to volatility. Yo, spelling be hard, bruh. Volatility, which is equal to starred. Wow, I feel like I'm pretty started right now, I'm not gonna lie. There, standard deviation. Okay. This is the only one I'm going to be labeling. Oh, you know what? Just because I'm so well behaved. So 1, I'm writing it out. Return of 1 is equal to 5%. Obviously that being 0.05. Volatility equal to 10%. It goes 0.1. Okay, this is a 1, not a 4. Mind your own business. Fine, I'll fix it. Oh, yeah. All right. What else should I write here? Risk-free. Or, yeah. Yeah. Excuse me, y'all. I'm a little tired today. So, and then I guess maybe it's important. This is the riskless asset, which means there's no volatility. You're certain. You are 100% going to get 2% back on your investment. Okay? Bob's your cat. I'm going to kind of speed run this and then you just look back to see what I did. I'm going to rewrite this because I know some of you guys, I don't know. Some of you guys are like addicted to the grind or whatever. RRA, I didn't write that down. You just got to believe me. 0.05 minus 0.02. Right now we're setting up our weight. Trying to find out how much we should put in the stock. 0.6. We have our expected return on portfolio, which is equal to weight profit plus 1 less weight. Risk-free rate is equal to 0.6 times 0.05. Wow, that looks like something. It's just incomprehensible. But it's part of the, I don't know, part of my charm, I've been told. Like, this looks crazy. Notation king over here. Point, you should get 0.038, okay? We're calculating a few more things for portfolio 1, like the variance in the standard deviation for the portfolio. Trying to find out how risky the portfolio is now. It's pretty easy because we're not working with that much. I'm actually working with very little. Your portfolio, when you make it, it's gonna be more than just one stock and then the risk-free rate. That'd be crazy. Unless you're like, I don't know, you know something I don't. And then obviously, I don't know. I'm not sure what I should really be explaining right now. Probably more than I am, but I don't know. Maybe I don't. Maybe I just don't. This is the Sharpe ratio of the portfolio. A little update on what I'm doing here before I get back into it. Yeah. That seems, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now we're cooking. Ooh, yeah, we're almost there. All right. Guess. This is your time to comment what it's going to be. If you guess 0.3, you're right. And then expected utility. Because now we have all the little bases. We had the little pieces, actually, before we did the Sharpe ratio. That was not completely necessary. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes, again, like you just got to deal with you just got to weather the storm of unnecessary to get to the end of the finance route, you know? And the Sharpe ratio is helpful. I can't tell you why off the top of my head right now, but I promise you it's super, super helpful. You're going to want to know that forever. Never forget it. I hope you guys are enjoying my new notation. So instead of just going like bracket, I just put a dot and then I put a dot instead of doing like 0.0. This is the best notation that anyone has ever had the joy of watching. I should be celebrated. Boom. Yeah. Woo. All right. So if you do portfolio 2 with just the portfolio 2 numbers, which I talked about, which is portfolio 2 invests in asset 2 and the riskless asset, and you solve for the optimal weights. You compute the expected return, volatility, and Sharpe ratio, and then you tell me which portfolio delivers the highest utility. You're doing the same thing, and you want to compare utility, highest utility. This is not profit. This is not the expected return. This is the expected utility, okay? If you compare expected return, I'm going to hunt you down. You're comparing expected utility. And if you do portfolio 2, I'm not going to do it because that's not my job. Your expected utility is going to be equal to 0.036, which, by the way, is higher than portfolio 1. So that's your answer. And I hope that makes sense. You would have seen all this stuff before. This is not, this isn't crazy, but it's important to know all the formulas. And I don't know what I'm drawing right now. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed. I'm going to go now. I'll see you in the next one.